Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. So in this video, I'm explaining the structure of the software requirement document. So you know that what is a requirement, right? So requirements are nothing but the customer needs that needs to be satisfied by the software that you are going to develop. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the structure, the entire structure, and also the additional details related to the software requirement document. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. So let me begin the explanation of software requirement document. So what is a requirement document? As I told you, it contains the customer needs. That means these are the features, right, that should be included in the software that you are going to develop. Your software should contain these customer needs because customer is the person who is going to use the software, right? So we have to develop the software according to the customer needs, according to the customer wish, right? So requirement document, this is the document. This is simple text document. This is going to be used mainly in the beginning step, that is the first step, right? This is the first step. You are going to collect the requirement first, then you have to proceed with the further steps of SDLC, that is design, implementation, so on, right guys? So if I say requirement, for example, a bank software requirements are, if I consider a bank software, what are the requirements of a bank software? There will be a lot of requirements. Thousands of requirements will be there in the complicated bank software. For explanation's sake, I'm just considering the simple customer needs or simple requirements. So the first thing is authentication feature. Authentication feature means anybody wants to log into the bank software, he should have some proper username and password. Right, without the proper username and password, you can't enter into the bank software, right? So authentication feature, this is a must feature for bank software, right? So username and password should be there. Next, registration feature. First, to log in to the bank software, first you need to register. If you are a new user, if you are a new customer, you have to register first. This is the second requirement. Authentication is the first requirement. Next, account creation feature. Suppose if you want to create the account in that bank software, right, you have to you should be in a position, or you should be allowed to create the account. These are the simple requirements, right? So like that. So these are nothing but the customer needs. Your software, whatever the software you are going to develop, for example bank software, that bank software should contain all these requirements. Getting, guys? Next, in requirements, there are two types actually. So when I say requirement collection, you have to collect two types of requirements, that is functional requirement and non-functional requirement. So what is a functional requirement then? So functional requirement means these are the requirements that the end user means the customer, specifically demands as basic facilities that the system should offer. That means I told you, right, these are the needs that system should offer, right, for the customer. For example, I told you authentication of a user whenever he or she logs into the system. This is a requirement. What type of requirement it is? Functional requirement. This is the function of the software actually. Your software has to function according to these requirements. Your software has to function, right, using this authentication feature. That's why these are functional requirements. Next, system shutdown. If any cyber attack happens, the system should shut down. This is the functional requirement. Your system should function like this only. If any cyber attack happens, system should shut down, and your system should have the authentication feature. Next, a verification email is sent to user whenever she registers for the first time. Yes, whenever the user registers for the bank software, a verification email is is to be sent to the user. This is the requirement, right? But what type of requirement? It is functional requirement. This is purely related to functioning of your software. Your software should function like this. Getting, guys? So these are the requirements that the customer specifically demands as facilities that a software should offer. So these are functional requirements. So what is non-functional requirement then? So non-functional requirement, these are basically the quality constraints. That means these requirements put conditions on the system. These are nothing, non-functional requirements are nothing but conditions or constraints that the system must satisfy according to the project contract. For example, your system should give maximum security. You can see that maximum security. Security is what? Condition. Your system should operate, yeah, I know that, but how it should operate? It should operate securely. It should give the security. So security is a requirement. Your system should give the security. It should offer the security. Security is a requirement, but what type of it is? What type of requirement it is? Non-functional requirement. Not only that, performance. Your software should perform efficiently. Efficiency is a non-functional requirement. Reusability, flexibility. Your software should flexible. Your software should reliable. That means no error should happen when you are using the software. So these are all the examples for non-functional requirements. These are nothing but like these are conditions for the system, right? Conditions. Your system should work reliably. Your system should give security. Your system should work feasibly, right? Like this. So these are the non-functional requirements, right? These are nothing but like quality conditions that system must satisfy. If your system is working but it is not offering security, means yes, it is working, it is functioning, functional requirement is going to met here, but it's not offering security, means non-functional requirement is not going to met here. Yes, your system is performing efficiently, means yes, it's performing also. That is, performance is what? Functioning also. Efficiently means non-functional requirement is also met here. But if a system is only performing but without efficiency, means performing, yes, functional requirement satisfied, but efficiency is not there, means non-functional requirement not satisfied. Getting, guys? Hope you understood. So suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. So example for non-functional requirements, what I told, right? These are the examples. So for example, see, I will just give extra details here. Emails should be sent with a latency of no greater than 12 hours from such an activity. For example, that latency is what? Latency is delay. While sending the emails, there should not be delay. That should delay greater than 12 hours. So you can see delay should not be there. Delay is what type of requirement? Non-functional requirement. Next, the processing of each request should be done within 10 seconds. Right? When you process the request, it should be done within the 10 seconds. That is the time. Within 10 seconds time limit you have to do. So what is that? That is the non-functional requirement. Next, the site should load within 3 seconds. Again, it is a non-functional requirement. Yes, that site is loading, but it should load within 3 seconds, means it is non-functional requirement. Getting, guys? So these are the examples for non-functional requirements. So for requirements means these are the customer needs that needs to be satisfied by the software that you are developing. If I say requirement, there are two types, that is functional and non-functional, right? Functional requirements purely related to the functioning of the software. Non-functional requirements are nothing but the conditions for the software to work. It should work, but it should work according to the non-functional requirements. Getting, guys? Next, so when I say requirement document, so before moving to the structure of the requirement document, I am giving these ideas. First you should know this, then if I move into the structure of the requirement document, you will understand it easily. So if I say requirement document, the requirement document used by several different types of users. Who are all the users is going to use that requirement document? Right? For different purposes, the different users is going to use that requirement document. right? Initially what you are going to prepare the requirement document, right? That requirement document is going to used by different users. What are those users? System customers. Obviously the customer will use the requirement document. Why they use the customer, why they use the requirement document, customers? Because this to specify the requirement document, they will tell what are the requirements to be included in the requirement document, and also they read that requirement document. Why they read the requirement document, customer? To check that the requirements are met or what. Customer, they will read the requirement document to check whether all the customer needs are met. To check that, they will read the requirement document. But along with that, if any changes are also there, because system customers, they are going to tell that to include that changes also in the requirement document, right? Next, managers also use the requirement document. Why they will use the requirement document means they use the requirement document to plan the system development process, right? Managers has to plan how the development should take place, right? So the managers use the requirement document to plan the development process. If they have the requirements, they can easily find out the time constraints, budget, those things. That's why, right? So next, system engineers also use the requirement document. Why they will use the requirement document means they use the requirement document to understand what system is to be developed. Yes, they has to understand. If they know the requirement, they can easily understand what type of software I have to develop. If the bank software, if when they read the requirement, they will understand, oh, we have to develop bank related software. If it's a school related software, when they read the document, they will understand, oh, it is a education related software, like that. Next, system test engineers. Testing engineers also use the requirement document. Why? They use the requirement document to develop validation tests for the system. That means what are the requirements? If, the test engineer, if they know about the requirements, they can easily find out whether the requirements are met or whether the requirements are not working properly, like that. The system test engineers can easily find out the errors if they read the requirement document. That's why, right? Next, maintenance engineers. Why they read the requirement document? Why they use the requirement document means they use the requirement document to understand the system and its relationship between its parts. This is very important. If any one of the part is not working, it is the job of the maintenance engineer to repair that part of the software, right? That's why, to understand the relationship between the machine and not machine, don't think it is hardware, no, it's a software. To understand the relationship between the components of the software, the system maintenance engineers, they will read the requirement document. If any of the software component is not working, they have to correct it. Maintenance engineer task is to maintain the software, right? That's why. Getting, guys? Hope you are understanding the concepts. If you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. So these are all the users of the requirement document. Now we know what is a requirement. Now we know what are the different types of requirement. Now you know what are the users. Who are the users of a requirement document. Now we will move to the structure of the requirement document. Yes. So your requirement document contains these many sections. One more important thing here. This is not a rule that every requirement document should follow this template only. No, this is only just an example template. This template can change according to the needs of the project, according to the needs of the company, right? So this is just a template. If you use this template, definitely it's well and good. But if you want to change this template also, you are allowed to do that, right? This template of the requirement document can be changed according to the company needs also. This structure is just like a reference to develop the requirement document. So these are the sections of that requirement document. Requirement document, you know that it's like it is a simple text document. That's all. It is a paper document, right? So what are the section of that requirement document? As you all know, preface, right? So in a book also you will have preface, right? Like that, in a requirement document, you will have a preface here. So what is a preface here? Preface, this should define the expected readership of the document, right? Readership, it is going to tell uh, who are all the users of this requirement document. Not only that, it describes the version history. For example, when you are developing an initial version, version will be 1. If you are developing a fourth version, the version number will be 4, like that. The version number, right? And what are the changes that you are going to made in each version, those details will be there in the preface. You can easily understand that. When a version number is there, you can easily understand that, oh, this is the first version requirement document, or this is the second version requirement document, like that. You can understand it easily. That's why it's not a rule that it should be there, that preface. Yes, if it is there, it's well and good. Next, introduction. So introduction, this should describe the need for the system. That means why we are developing this software, what is the necessity of this software, those things should be there described here in the introduction. It should briefly describe the system functions, what are all the functionalities, right? How your software going to work with other system, how your software is going to fit the overall business, what is the use of this software in a business, in a market, right? These details, simple details of a software should be there in the introduction. Next, in the third section, glossary, there this should define technical terms. Technical terms means, suppose if any non-technical user read the requirement document, so he may get confused, right? So if you are a software engineer, you can easily understand the technical terms, right? In company, not only the programmers will be there in a company, also other people will be there, like business analysts. They don't know about the technical terms, they only know about the marketing strategy, sales. Those people, they has to read, right, the requirement document, but they won't understand it, right? That's why you have to make a separate section, that is glossary. It contains the actual meaning of the technical terms that is used in the document, right? That's why you should not make any assumption about the experience of the reader. That's why, right? Reader can be a software engineer also, reader can be a business analyst also. That's why, right? Technical terms detail should be there in a glossary. This is the third section. So now, what is the fourth section? That is user requirement definition. Here you describe the services provided for the user, because user requirement means these are the requirements that is needed by the user. That's why it is going to describe the services provided for the user also. That is, the non-functional system requirements should be also be described in this section. In simple words, here both functional requirement details and non-functional requirement details should be there in this user requirement definition section. Getting, guys? Next, system architecture. I told you while explaining the spiral model and the waterfall model, you have in design phase you have to develop the system architecture. That means you have to develop the overall architecture, overall diagram of your software, right? That this chapter should present a high level overview. That means high level system architecture of your software, right? So that section should be there in the requirement document, because it will be easy for the engineers. If you have the system architecture information in the requirement document, it will be easy for the engineers to develop the software. That's why. Next, system requirements specification. What is this? This should describe the functional and non-functional requirements in more detail. I told you, in user requirement definition also there will be data related to functional and non-functional requirement, but in system requirement specification, that functional and non-functional requirements are described in a more detailed way, right? If necessary, further detail may also be added to the non-functional requirements. Getting, guys? More details related to functional and non-functional requirements will be there in the system requirement specification right? Once again I'm telling you, this is just a reference template to create the requirement document. The template may change according to the company, according to the needs. Remember that. So next section, what it contains: system models. So system models means in the coming section you will understand about the use case diagrams, activity diagrams. So those diagrams will be there in the system model section, because this might include the graphical system models. I told you, right? The activity models, flowchart, data flow diagrams. Those things will be there in the system model section, because obviously it will be easy for the developer to develop the software product if these details are there in the requirement document. You can see object models, data flow models, right? Sequence diagrams. Those details will be there. In the coming section, you will going to study more about these models, right? Next, what is the next section? This contains system evaluation. Evaluation means this should describe the fundamental assumptions on which the system is based. Suppose if you have done any assumptions, that assumptions should be mentioned in the system evaluation section, right? This section is useful for system designers as it may help them to avoid design decisions. Suppose if any assumptions are there, system designers can see that, and they can take their own decisions based on your assumptions. If assumptions are not specified means, then they may take the wrong decisions, right? So it may affect the future changes. That's why. So if any assumptions are there, those assumptions details should be there in the system evaluation section. If you are making any changes, then you can consider that assumption, then you can move according to that. Otherwise it will be a problem. That's why this section contains those details. Next, appendices. This should provide detailed specific information that is related to the application being developed. For example, each and every pin to pin detail, that is a very in detail information, will be there in the appendices. For example, you know that, right? What are the database description? What are the hardware requirement? For example, what is the OS you have used? What is the RAM? What is the size of the RAM? What is the size of the hard disk? Those minute in detail details, right, will be there in the appendices. Getting, guys? Right? And the last section is index. As you know, in a books there will be index, right? So index, the several indexes. If you want to find out the any information in the requirement document, the information will be arranged in a alphabetical order, right? That indexes. In library also, they will arrange the books according to the indexes, right? So those indexes information will be there in the last section, right? Maybe a alphabetic index they are going to use for this, right? So this is the last section. Index, index why we are going to use means there will be a lot of information in the requirement document if it's a complex project, right? If you want to move to the particular section, you can't move page by page, right? It will be time consuming, right? That's why you need the index. If you have the index information, you can move to the section directly, right? That's why. So getting, guys? So next we will discuss one simple requirement document, real world example of a requirement document. So this is the requirement document of a orange delivery app. That is this is a mobile application, that is a mobile app. So this mobile application is used for ordering foodstuffs. So that app name is orange delivery app. So you see here, this is the requirement document for that orange delivery app. You can see here also there is a template, but the template sections are different here. I already told you the template of that particular requirement document may change according to the project needs and according to the company, right, guys? So here you can see project description is there. It is going to describe what are the things that the software is going to do. A mobile application for ordering foodstuffs and other products from Orange supermarket stores. So this app will be available on Google Play and App Store. And project objectives, what is that? Facilitate ordering foodstuff and other products published on Orange Supermarket through website also, through mobile phone also. And project is considered successful. When you are going to consider project is successful, when the app has a high number of downloads on Google Play, the app has a ratings of 4 to 5 stars, the number of Orange Supermarket store customers grew by 10%, like that. These are their objectives. Getting, guys? This is a real world example, right? Project participants, you can see there who are all the members of that this project, means investor. So some names are there, who are all the investors, who are all the finance manager, who is the front end developer, who is the back end developer. Some people names are there, right? And what is the available resources? Budget $3,000, testing environment Apple iPhone, these details. Next, milestones. Build 1 means version 1. Next, build 2 means version 2. When is that? See, dates are also there, deadline is also there when you have to finish the software product. This is the real world example. See, deadlines. Within these deadlines you have to finish these two versions, like that. Potential risk, what are the risks of this project? The team may not meet the deadline due to adding unplanned in the specification features, right? So see, beginning only they are telling that deadlines may be affected because of some unplanning, right? That is the risk. So next, what is the team may run out of budget due to extending development or testing time. Obviously this budget, that is $3,000, may be exceeded because of some, right, extra development process or extra testing, like that. Approval, you can see overall the person, they has to approve this requirement document or approve this project, right? So see, so this is the example of a orange delivery app, right? One of the company's requirement document. Getting, guys? So hope you understood the concepts. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.